What's up? It's Urban Amp
It's me, G here.
up on the roof.
Rooftop Rambles.
It's January 30th, 2018. Just got some headlines to go over. Newsweek, as well as something that popped up on Niji's, was it Apple News feed? Is that right?
It's Apple News feed, yeah. It's nothing, I don't know. I actually don't even know what the actual paper was. It was Apple News. It was Apple.
Well, I mean, it's funny. I uninstalled Apple News, so I don't know what they're sending, what they're trying to get me to think.
I never don't look at it, but I knew Trump was trying to give his State of the Union address, so just want to kind of stay on top of that. You know what I mean? The psyops and that.
I've had this foreboding or ominous feeling about the State of the Union address this year, and that might be because of that show Designated Survivor. Which is that guy, Kiefer Sutherland, and he's like the sole survivor after a bombing at the Capitol building. He becomes the president, but he was I think the guy from 24.
Yeah.
So of course he's like breathing heavily and everything's intense, and but that's his thing. It's his stick, But I think the bombing takes place during the State of the Union address, so that could be why I've had this foreboding feeling about Trump's first address. But if you think about it, that's kind of and that's a prime example of predictive programming, right?
This is his first address,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not it occurs, I'm uneasy about it just because maybe because I saw this show, so I thought that was interesting. And then there's okay, what's the headline read again? It was something like Trump concerned that was it Trump concerned that the country needs...
It's PBS. It's actually PBS.
PBS needs it. Trump says it will be hard to unify the country without a major event. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What could that mean? Dun dun dun. Right. I swear that
I almost want to say just get on with it, right? I mean,
just drop the hammer.
Yeah. You're gonna do it. Just do it.
You've been teasing it for what?
Just do it.
Fire and fury or whatever. What? No. What do you say? This is the big calm before the storm, right?
Yeah.
I know that sounds pretty stupid to say that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, just drop the hammer, because it's probably going to involve something terrible.
Yeah.
Probably affect all of us.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think the sentiment, right, is that, gosh, you're dragging this, you're dangling this threat for how long now, And that's what I think that is. By the way, I think that's a poorly veiled threat, is what that is. I would love to be able to... This is quoting Trump. I would love to be able to bring back our country into a great form of unity. MAGA, right? That's just me, right? MAGA. Without a major event where people pull together. That's hard to do. But I would like to do it without that major event, because usually that major event is not a good thing. I mean, come on. How much... I swear, it's in this day and age... With the heightened awareness of, how we're saying how the term false flag is such a buzzword right now. Even if you're not into conspiracy theories, you probably have heard that term, right?
When
thrown around or something that right there is you don't have to read between the lines. He's terrible at it. It's not hidden at all. He's kind of telling you how it is. He's implicating. He's implicating, that he's going to pull a major event if he doesn't get cooperation. That's what he's kind of saying, right?
But it's also saying too that when the country only pulls together during a major crisis or a major event. So that's also telling that this country's never been unified in the first place.
That's interesting. That's an interesting read.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
it's like it takes something to pull us together. We're not really together.
Because we've never been together.
Not inherently or innately. It takes an external force, a pressure. It's a good thought.
Right?
That's
like,
cool.
I don't think it's been like a whole decade where it's just been unity and been butterflies and roses and rainbows and kumbaya.
Oh, no, that was the 70s, yeah.
Oh, 70s?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Damn. That's right.
It was the LSD. Thank you, CIA.
But,
that's good. I was just thinking of some analogy, like a crock pot or something. A bunch of random things thrown into a crock pot doesn't become nothing unless you put it under heat and pressure.
Yeah.
Maybe the disparate, separate parts requiring an external force to come together. Maybe that's just natural. Maybe it's. I'm just sort of playing devil's advocate,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's required. And with that, I've got some Newsweek articles here, and two of them have ISIS in their headline, which that's funny because I didn't know they were still around.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Weren't they like 2015?
Yeah, isn't that old news?
Yeah.
Or like fake news, I don't know. Okay, so I don't have all the facts here to deliver at this moment, but essentially ISIS is funded, created, or supported by those same powers that be, that pushed Al Qaeda, that pushed the Mujahideen.
I'm telling you,
the Brotherhood. It's the same deal. They're using radicalized Muslims. They're using radicalized religious zealots to enact their dirty deeds in order to create bogeymen, right?
Yeah.
So
just follow those greenbacks,
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Follow those.
It's like
everybody's looking for that.
You could, go through, and there is actually some good stuff. Like if you look into what happened with Syria, and the chemical attacks, both of them, or both of the supposed ones. That's one way to look at and see the truth. But yeah, simply just like everything, follow the money.
Yeah, just follow the money, man.
It's there. It's there. So ISIS. So there's this one here I got with this ominous picture of the silhouetted Statue of Liberty. That's a funny story, Statue of Liberty. But anyway, ISIS wanted to blow up the statue with a pressure cooker bomb, which is just okay. So essentially, it's like 9/11 part deux.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other one with ISIS is where is it? I got another one here too. Oh yeah, here we go. Russia 2018 World Cup is likely a target for ISIS. Are they both by the same? Oh, you caught it. They're both by the same writer.
Yeah, okay.
Jack Moore.
Right.
I'm gonna look into that guy. See what his deal is. So the subheader, the first few lines that appear on this, which is that's also kind of an important, or like a one way of reading into these things, these headlines, is to look at what the headline is and just what the first few lines of the article are.
Correct.
Can tell you a lot about what you're supposed to think.
Yeah.
Because the idea is
the
like
headline,
really,
and probably
no
the
one's
first,
really reading these things.
That's what I'm saying. They're only reading the first paragraph or two, so they're not reading the full articles anymore.
Yeah. If anything, people are like more keen on reading a Snopes.com article than the actual article, which is, I think that's hilarious in and of itself. Like, Snopes? Are you kidding me? But
what was the other article you were talking about? The energy weapons?
Oh yeah. Oh no. So I just think it's just funny to see these ISIS articles, coming up, and then we have Trump, who's been, who's been not thinly veiled threats, or almost, I guess, the opposite of this is blatantly implicating that he's threatening the country essentially with a major event if the division does not cease, right?
Yeah.
And then we have them talking about ISIS still, and about likely targets, and it's like, come on, we're gonna just put 2 and 2 together. Clearly, it's 5, But anyway,
I just wanted to, because they're gonna blow up the Statue of Liberty, and then they're gonna do Russia
World Cup, which that also just seems like a likely place, even from a truther perspective, right? Because that would really be a way to set off something, right, between the big powers, Russia and America, right? And then that almost leads into this other one I have here with let's see, U.S. military to test new laser weapon on an amphibious assault warship. So let's kind of take that apart a bit, right? So this ship, this is a ship, right, in the Navy, U.S. Navy. They're going to have a laser beam weapon on this ship. Okay, I mean that's we're here. Like when we were kids, we used to be like pew pew pew, pretending we're firing blasters like Han Solo. No, we're here because, I mean, like I said before, if they're telling us on mainstream headline about any kind of high tech stuff, that means they've had this shit for a while, right? And then now they're ready to tell us. Means that they've found a way to capitalize and monetize it. They found a way to put it on everything and be superior in military strength.
Yeah, but
they found it's.
I mean,
that's not good news. If that means that if we're moving warfare ahead to lasers and shit, that means that like they're gonna have finding a reason to use them.
Yeah,
right? And we're gonna have laser wars next. That's the next thing? Laser gun wars?
First I want to know how powerful it is, like what it can, penetrate, and the application for it. It can be. How much?
Like what are we really talking about?
Yeah, you don't have to refuel a laser. You know what I mean? Like if like the oil. You know what I mean? Like.
Like, is it a matter of like overheating or something? What is like a laser? As far as we know, isn't it plasma? Oh, geez, I forget the details. We looked into this, didn't we? But I just think like the reason that I pulled that one up is because of, like I said, it's important to recognize that mainstream is telling us that we should be ready to accept lasers as a reality, right?
Yeah.
And then also, just a few months ago, we're talking about directed energy weapons burning down houses all over Southern California.
That's true.
And we can go back the last 15, 20 years, just did like that excellent video A Plain Truth did, where he goes back and chronicles major catastrophes that seem to have like a through line where the damage, the destruction, there was suspicion of DEWs involved, right? And then here we are now. They're like announcing a laser weapon. I know it's not exactly the same thing, but I think it's sort of from a similar mind space. You have the idea of a weapon that is not a projectile, but a beam that can be directed, right? It's like, and we've had this crazy stuff for a while. You heard about all those things, and during the Iraqi war, when you have all these people with, damage that looked similar to like microwave beams, and it's like, well, we know that they had those weapons that are like microwave beams that supposedly are non-lethal, right? Remember they had the ones that's like supposed to be like a riot deterrent, it's supposed to aim at crowds of people to deter them because it's like it's going to bother them because it's microwaves. But then essentially it's like, well, what happens when you turn the lever all the way up? Does it become? Is it set to stun?
Yeah.
And then you can set to kill.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then we've kind of had like laser, beam energy weapon technology forever. And they just weren't talking about it. And now they're talking about it.
We're talking about it. Yeah, you definitely want to use these weapons at some point. You can't just keep developing weapons.
Yeah, right. You develop and you spend all this R&D.
Justify
You have to justify
the cost. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Is if they're announcing it, what that kind of tells me is that's also like that's almost like inferring or something that they probably have found a way to monetize or to reap a financial gain from this, right? Like probably they've found some way to make like, okay, we'll put them. You're gonna have a contract. You're gonna put them on all of your warships. We're gonna make $1 billion. Something like that. And then we didn't have a reason to use these. Well, we have a new threat.
But
the crazy North Koreans, or the Russians, or ISIS, or whatever.
Yeah, but what's the? I'm still, maybe I'm not critically thinking enough, but
wake up now.
I'm trying to picture.
Maybe you're not. Whoa, dude, is that supermoon?
Oh, it is.
Dang,
I need to get a picture of that.
Where'd that come from? We need to get a picture and put that out. That looks sick.
What?
Oh, did you get that video I sent to you about the moon is not a sphere? That debunking that Masterpiece did. I guess he's like an artist. Masterpiece.
I have to look at it. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm
Watch
pretty sure.
It's like 20 minutes long.
Okay.
It's a little bit long-winded and detailed, but it really, he breaks it down in a way that is like, oh, okay, actually that's a great argument, and he really makes a great argument that it's like, okay, that really helps to support the whole, whatever the moon is not what we've been told kind of narrative,
Oh, just.
I'm sorry. That's totally.
I know. I want to go back to this energy weapon real quick though.
Yes.
But what is the world threat where you need to escalate to laser?
Well, see that. No, that's a great question. What is that? Yeah.
I mean, you're still using conventional bombs or other countries that your so-called threats. They're still using conventional weapons. So for you to have to develop a laser, like what's...
that's a great...
But and also, this is going to be what you were talking about, overheating. Maybe on the warship because they're going to be water cooled, possibly.
Okay, yeah.
If
they could do like a recycling,
if it's that, power port, and it needs to be cooled.
Closed water system or something, like involving ocean water. I guess it's a possibility.
But
that's a great. It's like, so I think I have two comments on that, right?
Yeah.
My first thought was, well, what could you maybe the enemy, whoever it is, has a way of defending really well against projectile weapons. Maybe whoever the enemy is, they have come up with some new tech that's like super armor or something.
Okay.
But that just sounds kind of stupid and like from like manga or something, right? So. I think also the other idea is like, what would you need it for?
Defensive purpose, you know what I mean? Like if they're using it to strike missiles out.
Yeah, maybe it's
defensive.
Missiles,
yeah,
that's a good one. Why would you have laser replacements to
it
like
could be a defense, right? But still,
ground air missile defense. Yeah.
But if it is defense, you need to what's the word? I want to say agitate your adversary in order
to be fired upon.
Yeah, to be fired upon.
Maybe that's what happened in Hawaii the other day.
Yeah, exactly. And was Hawaii and who else?
It was
Japan
Hawaii
or somebody else?
and Japan.
Yeah,
it was Japan also.
Okay. Yeah. So you need an adversary to get riled up.
But there we are
to use it.
Both of those false alarm events, right? Which is funny, right? Because that kind of wordplay is interesting. False alarm. That was in the headlines for
like back
a
to
good
back?
week and a half, right? False alarm. Like I said, I think there's I don't know what the word is, like zeitgeist or something of right now. People I think are aware of the concept of false flag, right? And just hearing the phrase false alarm probably sort of mentally linked people into thinking about the idea of false flag too. That's probably a part of the whole predictive programming thing. Just kind of like a revelation of the method kind of thing. Where they
and especially if you're gonna have that missile attack or scare in Hawaii, that to me,
because they've already had to deal with being like a random impromptu attack, like a surprise attack from a foreign invader. They've already dealt with that before, so they're already on edge, and they know it's a reality, or it's a possibility.
To me, that seems like that needs to be a 2-stage type of a trigger. You know what I mean? Like, are we being fired upon?
Oh,
yes.
False alarm, you mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, like an alarm, like a massive.
Yeah, you can't just all of a sudden
text.
you can't just all of a sudden stumble on the button, hit the button, right? It needs to be like, oops, like I'm hitting it, and then somebody else needs to confirm it, right? Yeah, it needs to be one of those fail safes. But
you saw, I think we talked about this, right? I hope we did, because it was so. There was a news report that came out like the next day or something after the Hawaii thing about this camera, this news group that had been.
No, I'm just thinking.
That had been
look at the moon, right? And the moon's supposed to be lit by the sun, but the sun went down over here, so wouldn't it be in the alignment? Right?
See,
I don't know, but anyway.
You need to watch that video.
Okay.
It gets into some good stuff.
Okay.
He takes a bunch of okay. Do you remember how I was saying that one way, part of what the whole flat Earth movement has sort of done is also gotten people to be more, I guess, scientific or experimental. Like they're more like evidence driven, more data driven. It's like, okay, well, why would I believe this? Let's do some tests. Let's do some experiments. And people are trying things, measuring things, looking at things critically, analytically. Something that this guy, and so I was saying, what if we took different sized balls or spheres or something and moved them around and kind of see if you take the official cosmology, the distances and the speeds and stuff, and found a way to size them down, scale them down, relative, so that we can see okay, does this make sense? The different especially the the moon positions and stuff. Well, this guy kind of does that. This guy Masterpiece, he kind of he gets a sphere, and he gets another sphere and a light source, and he kind of tries to mimic and show you why essentially his focus is the lunar eclipse, and how the way that the lunar eclipses occur for as we observe them over recorded history, is proof in and of itself that it cannot be a sphere. That's his argument. But it sounds at first read, I was like, that seems like that can't be a very strong argument. How could you say the lunar eclipse is this disproves the sphere? So I feel like you need more, But the way he breaks it down is actually pretty strong. I felt like, okay, after listening to the whole thing, and he really breaks it down and gives a really good preface. It's kind of long-winded, but it's a good preface. And then after, I was like, okay, well, that's some good evidence, And I was already kind of leaning to, we've already been leaning to, whatever the moon is, it's not what we've been told. We're already in that way, but it helps to have some more ideas that sort of begin to take shape, so to speak, like a pun, take shape. Anyway, sorry, I feel like we're talking about something else.
I know. But I know, well, since we're on the moon, we were just talking about I know.
That's cool.
It's rambling. Just, how they say that, everybody's, we're trying to go to Mars, But first, I feel like the pit stop should be the moon. I think, it just makes logical sense to stop there first before you go venture out to somewhere, right? But the only thing about that is that they're not going back to that moon because the cameras have gotten much better. And if you land there, you can, with a P900.
Yeah, Nikon, right?
The Nikon, you can get the surface of the moon. So if you're
you
going
should be
there,
able to see what's going on.
Yeah, it's
and right then and there you could debunk. You could
correct.
Have some concrete. Yeah, and that's a perfect segue. It's like you knew what I was. So I've got this other one: Mars mission. SpaceX tests Falcon Heavy rocket taking humans to the red planet. Dun, dun, dun. So again, Mars. How obvious could it be that we're being prepared to
millennials,
believe
they're getting the millennials. I know.
They're trying to get them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're trying to get them.
And okay, so let's just so not even really talking about this specific headline, but just like you were just saying, like, shouldn't we stop at the moon first?
That should be
for
there,
so
right?
many reasons.
Yeah.
Like I remember a few months back, you brought up a great reason. You're just like, it would just make sort of financial, technological, efficiency sort of sense to do the moon first, build a base or something there,
a refuel station,
and
or
then
something
like a place to then almost a forward operating base.
Yes,
correct. You should launch from the moon, because if the moon is, as they say, as the official NASA reality says, right?
Yeah.
Well, then the moon has what 1/6 gravity or 0.6 the gravity, something like that, of Earth. So then you should be able to launch something from the moon with less fuel consumption, with less thrust. You would need less thrust, right?
Yes.
Hypothetically, that's if there's. If it's even. I've seen some videos which I haven't looked into really well, but trying that where the purpose of the video was to debunk the idea of thrust in vacuum space.
Okay.
Whether or not that's even possible, it's like I don't even know.
Yeah.
But if we're going with the NASA narrative, you should probably be on the moon.
You should be there.
Why are we trying to get to Mars from Earth?
Yeah.
Because you get to the moon first, then get to Mars.
Yes.
And then we get into it comes up over and over again. We haven't gone past the Van Allen belts.
Yeah.
Right? So how the hell did we go to the moon in '69?
Yeah.
We can't get past Van Allen belt now. It's
correct.
We're doing tests to see if we can get past it now.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me?
17 missions past it, so that's there and back. So that's actually 34.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's there and back.
We threw away that tech though. Yeah. It would be too painful to build it back up again. So let's just go to Mars. That seems reasonable.
That seems about right? You're stuck in LA and you never been to San Diego, right, Venture? But I'm gonna trek it to New York. Yeah.
It's that's good. That's good. I can't get to San Diego. Yeah. It's impossible.
It's impossible. But I'm going
There's
to
a
New York.
wall that Trump built, but I can get to New York. That's easy. In case it sounds like, I guess the context of it, we're talking about Don Pettit, I think, the NASA. I don't know what he is, the CEO or president or whatever the hell his title is, but he, he said, and it's been said by multiple other, if you pay attention to all those the actronauts,
the actronauts.
They can't get the Van Allen belt.
It's in their title, Astro. Space. They're not Astros. Yeah, they don't go to. It's in the title.
Again, in plain sight. Right?
Yeah.
In plain sight. So anyway, it's so Mars, right? That's the narrative that we're supposed to buy.
Correct.
And it doesn't make any sense. And so, for so many reasons, it doesn't make any sense. But they're pushing it, man. They're pushing it like crazy. How many movies have there been about Mars too? And it's always I love to look at movies and how that relates to our programming as a society. What do they want us to think? Well, apparently they want us to think that we're either going to Mars or we should go to Mars or something like that.
Yeah.
And then did you hear about Trump having a press conference where he said that he's going to redirect NASA to go to the moon instead, because do you remember, as in, he didn't, I don't know if he actually used the words like instead, but if you look at, a few years ago, Obama did a super famous press conference where he's like, we're going to Mars. We're gonna make all these things and go to Mars. We're gonna have manned spacecraft that are going to visit Mars and land on Mars and establish a colony and all this stuff, and too much applause. I think in that actual talk, he has like a dig at flat earthers or something. Just hilarious. He's like, why even bring that up?
Don't even. The other thing is, don't even try to go to the moon. Don't try to go to Mars. Just traverse Antarctica for me. You know what I mean? Let's just start at home.
Polar orbit of our planet.
Yeah.
How about that?
Can you just start here? Let's just start at home first. Let's just start here. Let's just traverse Antarctica for me. Thank you.
Can you show me a picture of our planet?
Of our planet. Yeah. Let's just
How
start
about
there.
that?
Yeah.
That's not like computer generated. How about that? You know.
But
no, we're gonna go to freaking Mars. Yeah. Right. What was I trying to say? So Trump, he had this press conference recently, in the last few weeks or something, where he's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the moon instead." So I thought that was interesting. Like that. I feel like that could be read lots of different ways.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like depending on what perspective you come from or what camp you're in. You know, whether or not you think Trump is, there to turn the government around, and he's really a truther or something, you know, or if he's the real deal, then maybe you think that's Trump, trying to essentially push NASA or call NASA's bluff.
Correct.
I've heard that perspective, and that's a very interesting perspective, you know, because that's a pretty smart move. If he's actually trying to call their bluff, that's how you might do it. Okay, go back to the moon instead of all this Mars junk you've been trying to push us on. Let's go to the moon, you know. But that's if you're in that camp, which I'm not. Like I don't buy that he's for us. I think he's part of the system.
I don't see why it's privatized. You know what I mean? Like it should be. I forget why isn't there more?
Why isn't there more what?
Space agencies. It's like, you know, the NASA kind of is giving up on it, right?
There are. There's a few
private?
more. There's for sure. There's another rival to SpaceX that also takes contracts from the government and puts up satellites in outer space orbit. You know, so there is. It's like the name of that group is like some acronym. I don't know.
Okay.
But SpaceX is the one that gets all the press, and that might also be because of what's his name, Elon Musk. His presence is more newsworthy, and he had, you know, whether or not he makes it that way, is it a persona? I don't know, but he definitely gets more press. All his like endeavors get more attention. You know?
Yeah, I feel like those, like, I mean, how come the Saudis aren't going to?
Maybe they are.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? If there are like other very wealthy nations, why aren't they doing this?
Yeah, why aren't they doing it? That's all. It's just kind of
maybe infrastructure. Like if there's already there's already all these launch pads and bases and stuff set up in the U.S. and stuff set up in Russia, which, you know, they have one too, right? Russia,
correct.
But it makes sense. I mean, they've had one, right? That's how the whole space race supposedly.
India too.
India, does India have one? I don't know.
I thought India had one, but
Japan's got one. Oh, China does too.
Oh, China, yeah. Correct.
Remember, because China had released that video of them like on the surface of the moon that looks even worse than that game Mass Effect. Like, I played a video game that looks better than that fucking footage. It's a joke, man. I hate it because, and I've got. So, like, the other day at work, I had this conversation with a coworker, and it was difficult to play along because I had to play along. I mean, I didn't feel comfortable revealing my true thoughts on it because he kind of just started going off on how awesome the cosmos is, and like this show that he watched. You know, you know those programs. I think it's called Cosmos, right? Isn't it like narrated by Neil deGrasse Tyson or something?
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
And he, it's all about like astronomy and space physics and everything. And he kind of, so this friend of mine at work, he kind of went on about black holes, and he's kind of throwing out all these factoids, like he knows them with the certainty, with the kind of confidence that was like, oh, you really think you're talking about something that is real, you know? And I mean, it's not my place to say, you know, oh, your belief is stupid. That's not, but like, can we recognize that? I mean, no, sorry, this is too much. Again, this is coming from this perspective of like I'm awake to the truth of the narrative that has been pushed to us about our cosmology and about space and about astronomy and everything. And it's so, but I mean, most people aren't, and he isn't, and he's totally bought into it. He's totally, like, he was passionately talking about black hole physics and stuff, and how cool it is, this episode he saw, and how it looked so rad. And I was like, why don't you just turn on a Hollywood movie, and you're gonna see the same thing. You just watch Interstellar.
Correct.
It's
same movie, different title, right?
But I mean, I know I was there before too. Like, I remember I've grown up on science fiction.
Yeah, correct. Correct. Yeah, I agree. Would you? I don't know if you would push back and maybe like ask questions about it. You know what I mean? Just to see if they.
I sort of did, but not. To be honest, I didn't like try to correct him. I played along in a different way. He was trying. See, here's how he was talking about black holes, and then I brought up Interstellar, the movie, and I talked about like what happened in the movie. You know? For me, that I'm just talking about fan fiction. Like I'm not trying to argue about truth. I like fiction, so that's my perspective. But he's trying to talk about truth, and he's like, oh no, that movie was great, but like it didn't get this part right. That's impossible. The truth is, it does this. He's trying to explain the way black holes work and how the plot of Interstellar, like, certain elements of it couldn't be true because actually this is how black holes work. That is what he was saying. Okay. And I was just like, wow. Like in my head, I'm like, okay, so this Hollywood fiction couldn't be true because this other official fiction is the truth. It's like, again, you're arguing, like how you're saying, what was it we were saying like earlier today? We were saying, look at the way, we were talking about the sunset and how the light from the sun, the way that it was dark everywhere except right there where the sun had just set. And we were thinking, isn't that just kind of like seem more like it must be a localized event? And plus, because the moon was well lit, but the sun, you can't see it, but you're seeing all this light way at the horizon. It's almost like it seems like this light source must be more local than like 300 million or whatever the hell miles away. And then of course my instinct is to respond with play devil's advocate with a rebuttal. I'm like, it's gravity bending the light rays, and it's like, okay, so we're gonna explain something that we don't understand with something else that we can't actually prove and don't really understand. Okay, that's how we do things.
Well, yeah. But that's the reality of it, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we're explaining.
That's how we're.
That's how we're,
it's
explaining our reality to each other.
We don't really learn anything.
False,
we just learn what to say, right?
Yeah.
Like it's. Again, I would rather eat mush.
Yeah, I'd rather eat mush too.
I don't care about the steak because it's a fake steak.
I wish we would just be more honest with each other and just be like, if you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean?
But see, that's not even. I feel sorry for the people who get caught up in it because they don't know that they don't know. They think that they're learning. They think they watch a show with this dude talking really confidently and arrogantly about space, and they think they're learning. And he's just like it's like you could have sat in an astronomy lecture at a college and come out and said the same things. So from his perspective, he learned real stuff. He learned truth. He learned facts. It's not his fault.
But like you say,
it's not like he's not being honest with himself. he's not thinking critically.
Yeah, he's you're right. Okay.
Well, I think we're gonna put this session of the Midnight Society to a close. No,
yeah.
But during that show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Anyway,
I just want to, thank everybody, for hanging in there, still listening. I just hope
if you are, hopefully.
Yeah, if you are listening, I just hope you take your own journey.
Well, I mean, maybe if you're listening to this,
you are on that journey.
Maybe,
right?
Yeah, you're already on that journey. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Send this to someone else. Maybe that's right.
Correct.
If you're already on your journey, good for you. But if you've got someone that you think is like on the verge, or maybe someone that you suspect has like a gateway conspiracy, which I think most people do.
Yeah.
Send these videos to them. Not just because it would be cool to have more subscribers, but and like listeners, but also because what if this helps to get them on their way? I would really. That's like one of the main goals of I think doing this is to like maybe someone might.
It's on the cusp of it, right? Yeah.
That'd be great. Anyway, this is Urban Amp.
This is Niji.
Signing off. Peace out.